Frankie Russo show straight out of Brooklyn. You better believe it. Crazy night. The screen was freezing up, so I decided to restart it again. Hopefully, we don't get a frozen screen. But anyway, we are so lucky. For the grace of God, we beat the snow. We didn't have any issues with the electricity. We only get what 7, 8 inches. We're so lucky. But for the grace of God, you better believe it. Do I get an amen? Do I get an amen, please? Yeah. It's Frankie Russo. Yeah. But anyway, Russo disclaimer coming at you. We don't sit on any congressional oversight committees. We don't sit on International Atomic Energy Agency. We don't sit on the Joint Chiefs of Staff. We don't sit on the National Security Council. We don't have access to classified documents. So what we do is court papers, judges' decisions, peer-reviewed journal articles, and open source, well-researched open source articles. We look for, in all likelihood, in all probability, we look for statistical significance. We look for trends, patterns, and inferences, and try to draw, with much responsibility, some sort of conceivably conclusions, in all likelihood, in all probability, predictions, maybe, predictive trends, absolutely. Okay, so just everybody, this is the Russo disclaimer. You better believe it. Okay, good. So, we got a few few side pieces. I like to call them side pieces. Daily Caller, house hacking suspects could read every email dozens of congressmen sent and received. So we're going to watch this Muslim spy ring, the house hacking suspects, the Daily Caller. We're going to watch it. I got this off Drudge, I think. Drudge Report. Great website, drudgereport.com. So congressional IT staffers who are subject of a criminal investigation into misusing their positions had full access to members' correspondence, emails, files, and there was almost no tracking of what they did, a former House technology worker said. I'm Ron Awan bullied Central IT to bend the rules for him so there would not be a paper trail about the unusually high permissions he was requesting. And their actions were not logged, so members have no way of knowing what information they may have taken, said the Central IT employee. So we'll see. I mean, we're going to follow this. So sometimes I read these articles for the first time, so, it is what it is. Okay, cool. Okay, another side piece. Number of sanctuary cities near 500, Washington Times. Number of sanctuary cities nears 500. Nearly 500 jurisdictions are now sanctuary cities, according to a group that's tracked the issue for more than a decade. And you said there's in a number of places trying to thwart federal immigration agents since DT's election. The Ohio Jobs and Justice Political Action Committee has now added more than 36 new cities and counties to its list in 2017 alone, as jurisdictions rush to try to shield illegal immigrants from what they expect to be a new push for deportations under DT. It's crazy. I found this article here. I'm not going to read it, but it talks about the Pope. And I'm a God-fearing Christian man. I'm a big Catholic, and it says here here's an article: why conservative Catholics think Pope Francis is a fraud. Well, I'm not down with this Pope. I'll be honest with you. I don't like him. So this article, I'm really not gonna go into it, but I found it in my, and I don't know, man. Highly questionable. I'm not gonna lie. I keep it real. I'm not down with this Pope. He's certainly not John Paul II. That's for sure. I don't know. But here's the article: Why conservative Catholics think Pope Francis is a fraud. I'm not down with this Pope. So I'm not going to read the article. It's in there. I don't know. There's something not right with him. This is something not right. Now here's some interesting stuff by a guy. Before I go to the Andrew McCarthy, the rats are coming. To DT, Rachel Mandow says, claiming she's got DT press releases. Tax returns. She claims that she has DT's tax returns. This has already been litigated, right? In the courtroom of American public opinion. DT won. She's more these lefties, these swampers, these are swamper. She's of the swamp. They don't care that Hillary Clinton deleted hundreds of thousands of emails, used bleach bite to destroy government property, which was the State Department server and all the documents pertaining to her work as the Secretary of State. Nobody cares about that. With an illegal, unapproved State Department server in the basement of her house, giving away conceivably the American secrets, the nuclear codes to unsecure people. Nobody cares about that. But they want to talk about DT's tax returns. It's a joke. What a joke. Mike Savage, I love Savage. According to InfoWars, Alex Jones, he's great. Savage, GOP traders blocking Trump. Ryan McCain trying to save Obamacare from Trump. Do you believe this? Look at that one. So we all knew. We know where the Democrats. I've always said this. We know where the Democrats are coming from. I got no problem with the. I know who they are. I know where they're coming from. They're all lefties, right? But we got these Republicans like Ryan McCain, unfortunately, that are just trying to block DT. We're not down with the individual mandate. Now, according to Paul Ryan, there is no individual mandate. According to Rand Paul, the mandate's in the form of a tax where we have to pay, if we don't have health care, we have to pay a tax to the insurance company. I don't know what's going on. And the CBO claims that there is no individual mandate. Because that's why this, according to the, so I'm going to try to get an article from the CBO on the CBO and hear actually what they claim about the individual mandate. Because that's the deal breaker for me, is this individual mandate, I've always had a problem. That was my big problem with Obamacare, was this individual mandate that everybody had to. The government was forcing us to get insurance. That to me is a disgrace. And I'm not a legal scholar. I don't put myself off as a legal scholar. But it had to violate. And according to the Supreme Court, this is what the Supreme Court claimed, that Obamacare bill didn't reach the commerce clause threshold. But since Congress taxes, Obamacare is a tax, so it's constitutional. So there. I don't know. But anyway, this is my, so we'll see, because as this thing unfolds with this Obamacare thing, hopefully DT can straighten it out. That's with the grace of God. That's my hope. That's why he's there, Obama versus Trump. We know this. Ex-president returns. This stuffed jihad radicalism is Obama to radical community organizing to save his tattered legacy. This is Breitbart.com. So this is what's going on with this. People go Breitbart News. They say, well, that's fake news because Steve Bannon. That's ridiculous. What they report there's facts in there. There's sources in their articles. So you have to understand what fake news actually is. This is sourced, open source articles, Breitbart News. A lot of this stuff that they publish are well sourced, open source articles. There it is. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna watch this other one. Fed and Shift may move to faster pace of rate hikes. And this is from Reuters. They hate Trump. So we're gonna watch this. I don't point myself off as an economist, but I know during the Obama administration, a few times they tried to inch up like a quarter of a point on the interest on the rates, the Fed, and the stock market started to implode. So I don't know what that's going to mean over here, but they're talking about the Federal Reserve, which has struggled to stoke inflation since the financial crisis and up until now, less frequently than markets expected, may be about to hit the accelerator on rate hikes. So they're talking about that and maybe doing one and starting to get stealth with them. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know, man. I know when Obama was president, they tried to move it a little bit, these interest rates. I don't put myself as an economist. I got my disclaimer in there. But I know because I follow the market. When they tried to move it up just a little, maybe a quarter of a point, the market started to implode. And they had to, they put it back down. So I don't know. I'm watching this. Okay? Cliff High, a predictive linguistic data miner. He's a data scientist, basically, and he gets these aggregate data sets from the internet, and he claims his data is predicting some sort of economic, because the debt ceiling is supposedly coming up on March 15th, so we'll see what that means tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not putting myself off as an economist, but I watch things and I follow things, so I'm just going to keep you in the loop. And so I found this other article, and then we'll do a little bit on Sudan. I'm not going to go through this entire article, but I thought it was really interesting. And I'm just going to hit like the paragraph here on this is the National Review, Obama's Cash for Jihad program by the blind sheik prosecutor Andrew McCarthy. Interesting article. This guy is the blind sheik's prosecutor, Andrew McCarthy. Obama's Cash for Jihad program. I'm going to read the first page, and then I'm going to go to the material support board. The Obama State Department is convinced that Syrian dictator Assad and his regime's cronies are financing terrorism. I'm doing this to show you, everybody, Donald Trump, President Trump inherited. I am showing, this is pre-Trump, Obama's Cash for Jihad program. So the Obama State Department is convinced that Syrian dictator Assad and his regime's cronies are financing terrorism. In fact, in its most recent annual report on state sponsors of terror, state frets that 60% of all business transactions in Syria are conducted in cash, and that nearly 80% of all Syrians do not use formal banking services. This has created a vast black market, the components of which are exploited by some members of the Syrian government and the business elite in terrorism finance schemes. Interesting thing about that, there are only 3 countries on the list of state sponsors of terrorism: Syria, Sudan, and Iran. The last one is worth highlighting. Iran, after all, is not just the world's largest and leading state sponsor of terrorism. It is the world's leading state sponsor of Syria. And you know about this, 3 to 15 billion, Congressional Research Service, Washington Free Beacon, Iran gives them 3 to 15 billion. And then we got the shadow commander, General Soleimani, New Yorker magazine, claiming that the Iranian government loaned Syria, the Syrian economy, $7 billion. So I nearly forgot Iran also happens to be the jihadist regime that Obama just gave $1.7 billion to in cash. It is hard to decide what is the most appalling thing about Obama's $1.7 billion payoff to the mullahs. The ransom for the release of American hostages, which has predictably induced Tehran to take more hostages, the pallets of untraceable currency loaded on the multiple planes of the national airline regularly used by Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps to arm Assad and facilitate terror. From a shady Treasury Department fund structured in a manner designed to conceal transfer to Iran. The transaction is so shocking, one can easily forget it is just the latest in a long series of payoffs. And then we're going to show you the payoffs. Material support. I told you I changed the board. Money, weapons, training, and human assets. The Obama-Clinton crime family, material, in all likelihood, in all probability, which I believe is statistically significant, probability, materially supports radical Islamists. 5 Iranian Quds Force leaders in 2009 were released. Who got the payoff? Iran. Bergdahl trade. 5 Afghan Taliban traces all the way to the Sahadan city of Iran. Who got the payoff? Iran. 150 billion plus OPEC market. Iran is now producing 3 million barrels of oil a day. 400 million to 1.7 billion unmarked bills to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Who gets the payoff? Iran. 400 million monthly payment to Iran for negotiating between Kerry and Mohammed Zarif, a bribe. Who gets the payoff? A lot of money to the Washington Free Beacon Congressional Research Service. Iran gives Hamas annually estimated 5 to 10 million. They give them a lot of money. We could just say Iran gives Hamas millions of dollars. So who gets the payoff? Iran. Egypt's Morsi, Muslim Brotherhood, 1.5 billion. They sent them a lot of money. I don't know if it's 1.5 billion, but a lot of money. And jet fighters, they sent at least one. Who gets the payoff? Iran. We know that Morsi was in espionage, is serving 20 years for espionage. Hamas and Hezbollah. Syria, 3 to 15 billion annually from Iran. Obama sent weapons and human assets to Syria, and they had to sign a contract not to fire at Assad regime. So not only does Iran send 3 to 15 billion and Syria is fronting for Iran, we're also arming a Syrian rebels that are fighting for Assad. So who benefits? Iran. Benghazi, according to Kenneth Tillerman's research, it wasn't Ansar al-Sharia, it wasn't the Lebanese Islamic Fighting Group, it wasn't the Muhammad video, it was the Iranian Quds Force plus Hezbollah. It was a cover-up. Who benefits? Who gets the payoff from Benghazi? Iran. The North Korean missile technology. North Korea gave missile technology to Iran. And it's been reported, numerous sources, Obama team knew about it, but the Obama team negotiated the Iranian nuke deal anyway. Who benefits? Who got the payoff on that one? Iran. The last one, Obama approved airliners to Iran, Boeing and Airbus. And Iran is using the airliners to smuggle weapons to Hezbollah. United States Senator Perdue wrote the letter, and Israeli Representative Danny Donen. Hezbollah has got 120,000 rockets conceivably. I don't have pictures to prove it. They got a lot of rockets on the ground. Let's say that. So many rockets. There's no NATO country that has a many ground. And who gets Iran? So who's the agent? Who's the Russian agent? Who's the Russian agent? That's what I want to know. Obama and Hillary Clinton. Because it's the Obama-Clinton crime family. So I'm going to quickly do another paragraph on Sudan, and we're going to get out of here and go to scope. This is the Sudan case with Omar al-Bashir. I'm going to have some more pictures for you on Sudan tomorrow. We're looking into this Omar al-Bashir and the clock boy. Why? And we also got some pictures of the Darwar Islamic Council with Malik Obama as the secretary. And who's the director? Omar al-Bashir in Sudan. So we're going to do I got some more stuff I'm going to show at this. Why we're going there. Osama bin Laden was there for 6 years. Osama bin Laden was an unindicted co-conspirator on the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Did you know that one? There it is. So I'm gonna go to a paragraph where we left off quickly, and then we're gonna get out of here. So we left off with this guy named, this is Dr. Matthew Levitt. He's the renowned expert. He testifies on these cases. He's the terrorism expert on Iran, and he explained that known Al-Qaeda operatives had significant relations with Iran, and he uses an example. Mustafa Hamid. I talked this how I'm going to. I left off. Mustafa Hamid throughout the period we were talking about. So I'm just showing here now the Sunni Shia nexus in the Iranian global terror network. This is another example. This is part of the model that we built at 77 WABC. This shows mainstream media narrative is a Sunni militia running rogue all over the North African, Middle Eastern region. We believe that the ISIS conceivably, it can be argued, is a Sunni Shia militia. And we're going to leave it there right now. Okay, so for example, we got Mustafa Hamid, right? He throughout the period we're talking about, throughout the 90s, was one of the Al-Qaeda's primary points of contact, specifically to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Now, another reason why we're looking into it, I got the articles. According to some of the articles, I found one on the Washington Times claiming that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps helped, supported, and abetted and aided Omar al-Bashir's coup d'etat on, I think it's South Sudan in '89 up to the 90s. They're there. They got an office in Sudan. Khartoum. That's where Omar, if I'm not mistaken, that's where Omar al-Bashir is from. The Department of Treasury designated Hamid as a specially designated global terrorist, noting specifically he was one of Al-Qaeda's senior leadership living in Iran, working closely with the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Following the meetings that took place between Representative Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda in Sudan, we talked about that big meeting of all of the radical Islamists in Sudan in the 90s. Hezbollah and Iran agreed to provide advanced training to a number of Al-Qaeda members, including Sharia Council members at Al-Qaeda, at Hezbollah training Lebanon. Saif al-Adel, the head of Al-Qaeda security, trained in Hezbollah camps. During this period, Al-Qaeda operatives trained in Iran and in Hezbollah training camps in Lebanon. After one of the training sessions at a Lebanese Hezbollah camp, Al-Qaeda operatives connected to the Nairobi bombing, including a financier and a bomb maker, returned to Sudan with videotapes and manuals specifically about how to blow up large buildings. This is crazy. Al-Qaeda desired to replicate Hezbollah's 1983 Beirut Marine barracks, where hundreds of Marines were killed. Terrible. I think it's over 250 suicide bombings. Bin Laden sought Iranian expertise to teach Al-Qaeda operatives buildings. Prior to Al-Qaeda members training in Iran and Lebanon, Al-Qaeda had not carried out any successful large-scale bombings. However, in a short time, Al-Qaeda acquired the capabilities to carry out the 98 embassy bombings, which killed hundreds and injured thousands by detonation of a very large sophisticated bombs. According to Dr. Levitt, Matthew Levitt concluded it would not have been possible for Al-Qaeda to give certainty to have executed this type of bombing attack, which it had previously executed without this type of training it received from Iran and Hezbollah. He's showing the ties with so the Sunni militia is Al-Qaeda, and the Iran and Hezbollah, the major leagues, they're the Shia connection. The Sunni Shia nexus in the Iranian global terror network. Hezbollah engages in international terrorist operations in close tactical and strategic cooperation with the Iranian government. Wow. The leader of Iran, Khomeini, controls oversight of the media, military, the Ministry of Intelligence, the IRGC, the Pasaji militia, Iranians Quds Force, all the entities that oversee the training and support of cooperation with terrorist organizations and that grant approval of terrorist attacks conducted with other groups answer to Khomeini. Hezbollah's assistance to al-Qaeda would not have been possible without the authorization of the Iranian government. Dr. Matthew Levitt testified that Iranian government authorization of Hezbollah's assistance would be required for several reasons. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Okay? But it's interesting, right? Approval. So the question is, did Obama get approval from the Khomeini? Right? We know on the record that Obama gave one letter, sent one letter to the Khomeini. He sent 2 letters to the Khomeini. He sent 3, 4 letters. Conceivably, I saw a Fox News reporting he sent 4 letters to the Khomeini. Is he getting approval? Was Obama getting approval from the Khomeini? I don't know. We're going to find out. We are. So we're going to stop it here. And it was great. I love this YouTube live show. It's a, I try to get as much information as I can in. So I think we hit a lot of good points. I have some articles to tie in what I already read, and I'm going to have a little more visuals. I'm going to start adding more visuals to this YouTube live show. It's going to be really cool. I'm trying to make it as I was hoping it'd be a little more interactive, but we'll see as we move forward, because I'm really enjoying this YouTube live show. You can join me on Scope Live. I'm going to go there right now. So it's a lot more interactive. It's live. Well, this is live too. But anyway, this is the Frankie Russo show, straight out of Brooklyn. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to try to come on. I keep saying that, but I'm really going to try. I'm going to try to come on tomorrow, earlier, more like 8:30 is my goal. Okay? Frankie Russo show, straight out of Brooklyn. We're working on getting back on broadcast radio. Stay tuned. Frankie Russo, straight out of Brooklyn, live. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow night around 8:30-ish, and I'll see you in the future.